Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are the Sports Budz. Joining me, as always, is Nick Kerr. I think he's on that side. No, maybe he's that side. We'll fix this.
You already ruined it.
Nick Kerr, you want me to start it again?
No, keep going.
We'll fix this in post. We'll fix it in post. And Chris Billings, as always, down there. You survived a wild week one. We've got the overreactions. We've got the observations. We've got the thoughts. To start off this wonderful week one recap, I will go ahead and hand it off to Chris Billings here. Seattle 17, Denver 16, Monday Night Football. Talk to us about the Russell Wilson experience.
Didn't go quite as planned, but I kind of had that feeling going into it. I talked to you about it, even though I picked Broncos, like just after watching those Sunday games, I was like, oh yeah, it probably playing in preseason matters a little bit. Everybody from that McVay coaching tree, essentially, that didn't have any emphasis on preseason, they all lost their games. They all lost their games badly too. So I kind of just had this sneaking suspicion going into it. I was like, there's going to be a lot of emotion going into this game. Like everything's new for this team, all the staff, got a bunch of new players. So yeah, not necessarily surprised by it, but Denver defense did not look good in the first half. Although I will say second half, they did hold the Seahawks 31 passing yards and 2 sacks. But man, just not gelling on defense, and then abysmal coaching in the final 2 minutes. Everybody saw that. I'm sure both of you have your thoughts on it. It just was bad. It's probably one of the worst head coaching debuts ever. We're talking about a team that had Vic Fangio before this. So that's bad. And I'm talking to a Dolphins fan, that had people like Philbin that were basically white paint drying on the sidelines. So yeah, it was just not a good look. First impressions do mean a lot. And for Hackett, all the energy that they created in the off season, that's gone now. They're going to have to rebuild that. And then also with the national audience, you lost on a big stage. Now everybody has, you have no credibility in the league or with national audiences or the national media. So Hackett's got a huge hill to climb this year. And so I hope that doesn't eventually just hurt him in the long run, that he's constantly just thinking about that of oh yeah, everybody thinks I'm a complete idiot. Hopefully he just has a goldfish memory and gets past this. But I expect the team to get better, but that was not a good start at all.
What are your thoughts on that game, Nick?
I mean, Chris pretty much hit on the head with most of those points. It was just very disappointing. I expected more coming from that offense. And I mean, me on this show, myself, I bashed Geno Smith, but Geno Smith looked like a great quarterback on Monday night. I mean, maybe Chris is right. The preseason, maybe they should have played a little bit more. These first couple games are always an extension. Well, not always. The last few years have been an extension of the preseason because they lose that game.
I agree. I would say my takeaways from that game are more about Russell Wilson than they are about Nathaniel Hackett. Russell Wilson isn't mobile anymore. I haven't seen him be very explosive and make those plays that we traditionally associate with Russell Wilson. And that would be my main concern if I am a Broncos fan, is he is still a very good quarterback from the pocket, but that explosiveness is kind of what made him Russell Wilson. And if you take that away, he's not Russell Wilson anymore. He's just another quarterback that's a pretty good quarterback in the pocket.
Honestly, I think the game plan that was built around him, that was one of the positives I walked away from watching that game. I was like, okay, there's some great play calling, the play action stuff that they were doing. Just his timing was a little off. He just doesn't have that connection with some of the receivers. And then Russell Wilson, he does have one of the best deep balls in the league, and his timing was way off on those deep balls. So I do expect that to improve. But I walk away with a whole bit of optimism watching that offense and just the way that they were already kind of connecting and working around Russ and just I guess what his strengths are at the moment. Yeah, like not as mobile, but he is still pretty mobile. He's more mobile than the average quarterback in the league. And so like that's going to create some play action opportunities and I'll take those. Like think about what they tried to do with Peyton Manning his final year where it's like okay, like we have to create opportunities for our run game. And that was wild thinking that with like Peyton Manning, but Kubiak, to his credit, was able to do that with Peyton Manning, one of the most unmobile quarterbacks ever. So like I do have faith that they'll build something that'll work around Russell's advantages as they stand right now.
They definitely need to. I mean, this game did go ahead and showcase that Russell Wilson is not Peyton Manning. So they
He's
definitely
not Peyton
No.
Manning, but he's better than what we've had the last 6 years by far. I can tell you that watching one game that's better than what we've had the last 6 years and way more competent. So like I said, walking away with optimism where I have question marks is with the defense. Now Justin Simmons is going to the IR, so that's like even bigger question marks over there. And then Nathaniel Hackett, like the dude has the energy of a golden retriever, but like, is that going to actually translate to anything on the field? And like, I get it. He is the complete opposite of Vic Fangio, but is he going to have the same record as Vic Fangio?
We'll see. It is week one. That was an emotional game. It is easy to overreact to that one. I'm sure that they'll bounce back and make their adjustments. We are getting caught up in that one. Let's go ahead and talk about this disaster of a game that happened in Dallas with Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay 19, the Cowboys 3. I was straight up shocked to see how many people watched this game. This was like the most watched Sunday Night Football game in like 5 years. I can go ahead and find that graphic, and I was straight up shocked. And then it was like, this game was bad. This game was bad before the Dak injury even happened. This game was awful to watch as a Cowboys fan from an offensive like point of view. They were straight up like the worst team in the league. They didn't even get into the red zone on offense throughout the whole game. The furthest they got was the 30-yard line. That is the most pathetic offensive showing I have seen in years from a team that led the league in scoring last year. And then this just showed like this game was just like all of the Joneses' plans and lack thereof just blowing up in their face, getting rid of Amari Cooper, not getting a replacement, drafting a wide receiver in the 3rd round in Jalen Tolbert and not even playing him, not even having him as a healthy player in that game. Just getting rid of La'el Collins because they were mad at him. Once they got rid of him, did they replace him? They never replaced him. Had issues with the offensive line. Tyron Smith gets injured. They don't know what to do. They're signing Jason Peters, leading to the Dak Prescott injury. And then this meme just goes ahead and just explains everything that's going on in Dallas right now. It's everything. The fan base is all aware. Nobody has the Jones family back. Nobody wants to go to games. Nobody wants to watch these games. I saw field level tickets for $200 against the Bengals this Sunday. So I'm just like, and now what are the Jones family going to do? Those are my rants and raves on that game. Someone else. We'll go ahead. Nick, tell me what you saw in that game.
I saw a lot of field goals. And I mean, it's football's back. That's why the viewership is first Sunday night of football in 8-9 months. So that explains it. Plus, Cowboys, America's team, playing against Tom Brady. Of course, you're going to have the viewership. But Dallas they just did not show up. It's everything that you were alluding to over the offseason. They weren't making any moves. They weren't making the right moves. And they didn't fill those gaps. They let 2 offensive linemen leave. They let 2-3 wide receivers leave. And they didn't fill those holes. So I guess it's really not – it's expected that this happened.
What do you got to add to this, Billings?
Like, Nick didn't get to see it because he was at an actual football game, but like those earlier games, those got people fucking juiced. Like, so I can see why that late game was so popular, and then just sprinkle in some Tom Brady, some Dallas Cowboys. So of course it was gonna blow up. But yeah, that was a bad game. I was out after the third quarter. We did our post game show, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna edit some video and I'm gonna watch something else because this sucks. um, that's it's how I felt being a Broncos fan, though, last 6 years. Not to make this about me.
Mhm.
Sorry, Tony. But that's just how it's been, of where
Yeah.
you get like pumped for these big games and then it's just lay a complete egg. Like, and it sucks. It sucks watching your offense just be inept like that. Uh, and so yeah, I felt for you, to be honest. I was like, this sucks if you're a Cowboys fan, because this is just, it's not fun to watch. That's really what I walked away. The other thing I probably walked away with on that game was that Tampa Bay defense is probably pretty good as well. I don't think it was so much the ineptitude of Dallas, but yeah, I think the Bucks defense is pretty good. They're gonna shock some people.
Man, I wish I could agree with you that saying the Tampa Bay defense is like part of the reason that this happened, but Dak Prescott's number 2 receiver is a guy named Dennis Houston, and the number 3 receiver is a guy named Simi Fioco, a 7th round draft pick from Stanford. I don't really know what other teams in the league that those dudes would even play for, much less start for. So if those dudes aren't even like legitimate NFL receivers, like I don't know what they were hoping.
To be fair, I saw plenty of no names this past weekend just destroy defenses. They had no answer to them.
Who?
So like,
who is this no name that destroyed defense?
I just saw. I'm just saying. I saw it around the league of teams that were unexpected. Whether it's Houston, whether it's Seattle, like even the Falcons there for a while, Lions, etc. Like there was people that like, yeah, if you just come prepared for that week one, you can surprise teams, and that's usually what we see in the past is that underdogs can surprise you week one. And
Yeah.
Dallas should have come into that game with that mentality of like, week one, we know we can surprise them if we come in with a decent game plan and execute. And like, that's the thing I didn't see from Dallas, though, is like, they kind of just showed up, was the weird thing. It was like, this is what you like, you knew you're going to be underdog. Like, you knew that you're going to be up against Tom Brady, and either side of the ball just kind of just showed up, and we're like, yeah, we're just going to play football. We're going to play to our strengths. And that's not what wins championships. Sorry.
They don't even know what that's like there. It was a terrible shit sandwich. Well, the season's over in week one. At least I know that. And fans' expectations should be tempered, because I don't care how fast you rush Dak Prescott back. Those players on that team are terrible, and they're not going to do anything. So let's go ahead and move forward to a better game and a higher note. Nick, talk to us about Dolphins 20, Patriots 7.
I mean, it was a great game. The stadium was packed with Dolphin fans. It was electric. Everyone's standing up, making noise, third downs, caused a couple false starts, timeouts. Stuff we haven't really seen down here in Miami in the last few, maybe 5 to 10 years. Because I remember being at the Ravens game last year, it was probably half and half Ravens, Dolphins fans. So it was nice to see everyone show up, and the product on the field is something to get excited about for me and for all Dolphins fans. Yeah, they're still working their way back toward getting accustomed to this offense, because it is a brand new offense. This is their 4th game in it. But I think going on throughout the season, just like with what's going to happen with Chris's team, the Broncos, just the more time they have together, this Dolphins team should become explosive.
I could see that. That was an impressive defense. They were making plays. That Waddle character making plays as well on crucial downs. I saw that.
That Waddle character, just one of the best receivers in the league. No big deal.
that play alone, that wouldn't have happened last year with Brian Flores and his two offensive coordinators. 4th and 7 on the 42, he would either try a 60-yard field goal or he would have punted. There was no way he would have tried to go for it. And that's something that Mike McDaniel brings to this offense that we haven't seen.
Jalen Waddle was on the Steelers, he'd be in Pepsi commercials. I'll leave it at that.
I don't think that's true.
I think that's very true.
I don't think these players have that type of marketability.
Agree to disagree.
Where's the Justin Jefferson Pepsi commercial?
Hey, might be coming soon. Dude might be in a Target commercial. Just you watch.
I know. I should have picked him as my offensive player of the year.
Right. All right. Let's move forward to the biggest surprise of the weekend then. Since we are talking about Justin Jefferson, I would probably have to say the Minnesota Vikings totally dominating the Packers would probably be my surprise of the weekend. That Packers team wasn't even in that game. Like, they straight up got dominated the whole game. Pretty impressive win for Minnesota. What about yourself, Chris? What was the biggest?
That was the Vikings. That was my pick as well. Like, that defense looked electric. And it wasn't so much just like that they kicked the Packers' ass. It was like, once again, I have eyes. I watch these games. They look damn good. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, they can all stay healthy. Pretty electric. And then, yeah, Justin Jefferson looks like easy contender for offensive player of the year.
Nick?
But
mine would probably be the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. The amount of ways Cincinnati found ways to lose that game. Like, they were trying so hard not to win that in the end, the Steelers just came out on top.
God damn it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's Tomlin win.
mm-hmm.
All right. What were you going to say about Justin Jefferson and the Vikings over there, Billings?
Oh, I'll move on. I'll go right to Michael Tomlin and his black Air Force Ones. That guy, holy shit! Like, that's what I was talking about. Like, talk about having like your team prepared for week 1 and ready to execute. That dude did it. So credit to them. Did not expect that, and I actually I think Tony was on to this. That like Steelers actually might be pretty good this year.
I don't know about pretty good, but they're going to steal some games, and I think that they're going to start out hot. I don't know why. Feel like we'll see. We'll see how long he can get the Mitch Trubisky train going and how long he can hide him, because that guy sucks. He is bad. Real bad. What was your game of the weekend, Nick?
Game of the weekend? Probably the Chiefs-Chargers game. Because Patrick Mahomes just showed the NFL that he isn't going anywhere. And maybe I'm wrong that he doesn't just throw the ball up there.
already trying to walk back some of that Mahomes talking after watching one game. All right, Billings, what was your game of the weekend?
Man, there's some good games, but honestly, I'm gonna go with that Packers Bengals game. Like, that was actually like an interesting game to watch and not what I expected at all. And it wasn't just because that's the game that was most played on my red zone.
Do you mean Bengals Steelers?
Yes.
Yeah,
Who did I say?
Bengals Packers. It's all good.
Oh wow, no.
Bengals Steelers was a really good game.
Yeah.
I would say
That Packers Vikings game wasn't good.
no, it wasn't. There were a couple here that I put down, some field goal finishes. I would say Browns Panthers was the game of the weekend there. That game was insane in the last 2 minutes. I did root against Baker Mayfield and bet against him. But to be honest, that Panthers team probably should have won that game. Like, there was some horrendous. I think the Browns got a roughing the passer call, and they should have gotten a penalty because Jacoby Brissett doesn't know how to spike a fucking football. And so they had to stop the game for that, and they got away with that. And then they were able to have that guy kick a 58-yarder or something looked like it was good from fucking 70. That shit was ridiculous. But yeah, that was probably the game of the weekend for me. But game of the week is Billings has up here that fucking monsoon game in Chicago with the Niners that knocked me out of a survivor pool because Trey Lance couldn't throw the ball in that goddamn monsoon. What was your butt game, Billings?
Cowboys Bucks. That was just a
Fair.
boring game. And
Fair.
I hate nothing worse than a boring game.
Fair. Nick, what was your butt game of the week?
I'm gonna have to go with that same one, the Sunday Night Football. I didn't watch a 1 o'clock game, so
You hear that? Please stop watching the Cowboys. Stop showing us on prime time. We don't deserve these slots. They're terrible.
They'll still get them because those numbers will never drop.
No.
We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of terrible, let's take a look at these spread results from week 1. I actually did decent, 10-6. That means I'm going downhill for week 2. Nick coming through second place, 7-9. Billings in last at 6-10. We got to do better this weekend, guys.
yeah, we can only go up from here. Me and Chris.
I did skip these power rankings. We did talk a little bit about them. And the one thing I saw that was surprising to me is that we all had the Vikings in the top 5. Are we overreacting and just like everything is good now with the Vikings? They're the team in the NFC North, or are we just, I feel like we got to pump the brakes. It is fucking Kirk Cousins that we have here, and he's going to be playing in primetime this next week.
Go ahead,
Nick. They have the pieces on offense. If Kirk Cousins can play well, they could stay up there and challenge the Packers.
Billings?
It's all about can players stay healthy, because like they easily have $1,000 receiver. Like they easily have probably a 1,500-yard running back. Like that's going to translate to wins. Yeah, I have eyes. Like that offense, just Kevin O'Connell has them on a next level that they just haven't been doing the last couple of years. Like we've talked about this with the Vikings before. On paper, like you look at that team and you're like, yeah, like they should be doing a lot better. And they've continually disappointed. They've almost been like the Phoenix Suns of the NFL. And now like they look like the team that's on paper this year. Like that's what I finally saw in that game. So I actually have some expectations for the Vikings, and that's why I had them in my top 5.
Dude, I got to do it. We got to pump the brakes on putting the Vikings in this top 5. All of us did.
But it's a week-to-week power rankings. I can change.
Yeah.
They can drop down to 32nd next week for all I care. Like
I
this
don't know
is
about that
subjective.
load, but
See?
Hey,
already...
I'll throw my integrity out the fucking window, man. I'll drop them. It doesn't matter.
We're already iffy about this Vikings team. And just to me, it's just like the teams that they're in there with, and all of us put the Vikings in there without like second thought. It's like Chiefs, Bills, Bucks, Chargers, Vikings. And I'm like, are the Vikings really in the neighborhood of these other teams?
Like Chris said, we were basing it on week 1. So they beat Aaron Rodgers at home. Well, they were at home. So 16 or not 16 teams. 15 teams won this week. It's 2 tied. So you got to put them somewhere.
Okay, fair enough. So based on these power rankings, you both think the Chiefs are the best team in football after you saw week 1, and Nick has begun to walk back that Chiefs Mahomes shit talking. What do you got to say about the Chiefs and Mahomes, Chris Billings?
Like they're off to a hot start, and like it's this weird thing in the NFL where people think it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish the season. But no, like statistics have proven out that like teams that start hot, like they generally do make it to Super Bowls. And like with the Chiefs like already clicking, like that scares me. That should scare the whole league, because like the last couple years, like they've had sputtering starts where it's just like, all right, like they're taking a while to get back to speed. And then once they did get to speed, everybody's like, holy shit, like the Chiefs are back. And it's like week 1, and it's like, oh shit, Chiefs are back. Now, on the flip side of that, it's like, are they going to burn themselves out too early though, playing at this tempo? I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Yeah, they'll probably be in the AFC Championship, but they looked good. Shit.
Interesting. Interesting that you say this. What about the Cardinals just being absolute shit? Are we just gonna like brush that under the rug? That doesn't matter.
I mean,
I don't know what the Cardinals are, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I kind of want to watch a couple more Cardinals games, see what that team is, because I don't know.
I don't know. I see what you're saying about the Chiefs. I have some reservations. We'll see. We'll see how they do against legitimate teams, against the good teams. They have a killer, brutal schedule. They had coming up. Look at their Thursday night matchup. We'll talk about here in a minute, but they have a very difficult schedule. So that's where I would hold off on crowning the Chiefs yet. That Bills wagon, on the other hand, they have an easy schedule. I think the best team they play is like probably going to be the Dolphins before they play like the Packers mid-season. I could see that team getting off to a hot start. And man, I don't know about the Chiefs getting off to a slow start. I want to say that like I don't think Patrick Mahomes has ever lost a game in September. So maybe like they just
yes. They started out like 0-3 last year or the year before.
It was like 0-3 or 2-2 or something like that.
Yes.
Get out.
They did.
No. We'll look that up. We'll check that out. Patrick Mahomes' record in September is pretty good. I don't
edit that in right here. Chris was right. They started out like 0-3, like 0-4 over the last couple of years. Just edit it in right here, right now. Chris was right.
I don't think that is true. And I think that Mahomes only has like one interception in his career in the month of September. So I don't think so.
He's talking out of his ass.
I don't know.
Guy, he's a Broncos fan. He gets caught up in storylines over headlines a lot. I mean, I heard a lot of talk about Drew Lock in that Seahawks game.
Chris does pay attention to the AFC West pretty well.
I
So
do.
I would
know thy enemy. But since we are on power rankings, have any of you seen this PFF quarterback rankings?
Oh,
anyone?
I saw it.
I'm looking at it right now.
I got plenty to
I was assuming that this was one of your pseudonyms with how low you guys ranked Patrick Mahomes here.
I'm still trying to figure out how McCorkle Jones is ranked 14th on that list, with Tua being in 26th. I don't know what fucking game they were watching. I know what game I watched. And McCorkle Jones looked outmatched every play. Did you see the fumble? Like, what? Come on.
What a reenactment. I feel like
this is why I can't take the national media seriously, because it's such bullshit.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't give PFF that much credit. This is pretty wild. So it was Josh Allen 1, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Justin Herbert, Jameis Winston, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes at 8, then Tom Brady, and then Davis Mills to round out the top 10. Pretty weird one. As I said, they had, I believe, Tua at like 28th.
26.
Yeah, that's just wild stuff from PFF. Whereas like the QBR and ESPN had Tua at 5th. So it just shows you that sometimes these stat nerds, a little too nerdy, a little too statty. Wins and losses, baby. That's what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes' record in September, 12-2 in his career, 1-2 last season, the worst he's ever been in September.
See.
Yeah. See? Where's that 0-4 nonsense?
Hey, it was a losing record.
12-2 in his career in September is pretty.
Yeah, but last year 1-2.
1-2. Yes, that is true. That is true. 1-2 last year. Actually, 2-2. He won the last game of the month.
So I was right. I thought they went 2-2.
That was the worst Mahomes has ever been to start a season. 1-2. I don't know, man. That's a solid squad over there. I got my reservations though. It's going to take some time to get everything clicking. That AFC West is brutal.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say right now, the game I'm most looking forward to this upcoming week is Thursday Night Football, Chargers and Chiefs. That is the best game of the weekend right there on that slate. You've got two of the best quarterbacks in the league, Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, facing off. Justin Herbert's record against the Chiefs is 2-2, so we know he can beat the Chiefs. And we're talking about the Chiefs being the best team in the league. I do also see the Chargers on all three of our lists for top 5 in the power rankings as well. 2 top 5 teams meeting from power rankings. How can this not be the game of the week? What is your game you're most looking forward to, Billings?
The Chargers are going to get their ass handed to them. That's why this is not going to be the game of the week. I can tell you that right now. Swatch.
No history indication.
Write it down. Write it down right now. Going to get their ass kicked. This is going to be a double-digit beat down on the Chargers.
Put that one down. Billings was right, just like when he talked about Mahomes' record. Edit that in.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I was closer than you were. We're going to play Price is Right rules. I was closer, buddy. I'm doing that showcase showdown right now. I'm going to say Vikings Eagles on the tail end of that Monday Night Football doubleheader.
Vikings Eagles.
I think those are two pretty good offensive teams that we're gonna see some fireworks on a Monday evening.
Interesting. Fireworks.
And Philadelphia fans are gonna be rowdy. Like that game's gonna be starting at 9:00 East Coast time. Come on. Awesome.
The Eagles fans are going to have plenty of time to get nice and toasty before that game.
Yep.
Is that your pick as well, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, based on looking at this schedule and all these spreads, most of these games aren't even close. So aside from looking at my own game that I'm excited for, I think that Vikings-Eagle game should be exciting for Monday night.
I agree. That should be a good one. That was a good choice. But you're overlooking that Chargers team, Billings. He knows that sleeping dragon is coming, man.
I'm not. I'm really not. We'll circle back around here at the end of the year and I'll do my usual thing. Chargers, they charged. End of story.
I don't know. Does Justin Herbert have any?
Remember last year when everybody's like, the coach is a genius. Justin Herbert's an MVP. How did that work out? It didn't. So
We'll see. We'll see. They are 1-0. One of those teams is going to be 2-0 and have 2 division wins.
And it's going to be the Chiefs, and they'll be at the top. They'll be at the top of my power rankings next week.
We shall see. The Chargers beat the Chiefs in Kansas City last year. It's a good matchup. They do seem to face each other pretty evenly. So it's going to be a good one. So moving forward here to that game, I'm seeing here the spread is 4 points. The Chiefs are favored at home here. I'm the only one picking the Chargers. Tell me why. 4 points. Come on, man. That's too many points. You can't be doing that.
Patrick Mahomes at home in September.
You got some good information. He's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Making me just fucking words.
Where'd you get that information from? That's a good source right there. He's pretty good at home in September. I would agree.
Yes.
Billings?
I already went on my rant. I went Chiefs.
Yeah.
Double digits.
That's too many points. That's a field goal game. Both those quarterbacks are too good. That's going to be a close game. Keep your eyes out for that one. Whoever has the ball last probably on that one. Chargers cover though for sure. Field goal game. Nick, Dolphins and Ravens going to Baltimore. Baltimore's home favorite here. 3.5. Looks like we're split here. I've got Billings picking the Ravens. Nick on the Dolphins. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and take the Dolphins because that half point, that worries me. Even though I think this is going to be a good rematch from last year, when they did go down to when the Ravens went to Miami. Miami took care of business on a Thursday night. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think this game will be a lot closer than it was last year because the Ravens will be ready for that cover zero blitz, cover zero defense. They'll have something for it this year. It's just about the cohesion on offense, seeing it come together for Miami.
Billings, why are you on the other side of this?
I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson isn't going to Miami. He's not going to go get drunk at South Beach the night before. So you don't have that going for you. I don't think you guys have any. I love that Dolphins team, but I don't think you guys have any answers for containing Lamar Jackson. And so that's just going to cause you problems all night. And then eventually he's going to set up just deep passing plays on you guys that I think it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. And they're most likely going to win by a touchdown. Sorry, Nick.
Fair enough.
I think that Dolphins defense, that secondary in particular, makes it difficult for Lamar to make plays.
Yeah.
He was looking good in the pocket against the Jets. The Jets are definitely a downgrade over.
And I think that secondary is definitely the Dolphins' biggest advantage when it comes to defense by far, but that's going to be the problem is that they're going to have to drop down to basically contain Lamar, and then you're going to see receivers get open. And yeah, it's going to be a numbers game. That's why it's always advantageous to have a running quarterback on your team that's so elusive like Lamar Jackson. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a numbers game where eventually he's going to make enough plays that he's going to take away your best asset on defense, which is your secondary.
It's going to be a good one. We'll see. I think Tua makes some plays in this game. I think they definitely cover with the hook there. I like the 3.5. We got Jets Browns. Speaking of a wonderful background, Billings, talk to us about the Browns there.
Yeah, we got Brownie the Elf back on the field this week. Anything that pissed off Paul Brown, the former owner, I'll take it. Apparently he hated Brownie the Elf, so it's coming back. Awesome. But hey, anything to distract you from the fact that they took Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool thing. Browns fans, honestly, good for them that they are excited about football again. Credit to them. And so, but I have the Browns. I don't think that Jets team is good at all. They're going to be competing for the number 1 pick this season yet again.
6-point favorites at home. Nick, why are we taking the Jets?
Yeah, I think the Browns still win this game. I don't think the Browns are good, especially with Brissett at quarterback. I think the Browns still win this game, but it'll probably only be by a field goal.
I agree with that. That sounds pretty sound. I don't think Jacoby Brissett and the Browns should be 6-point favorites over anybody. That team, they are not that good. They struggle. How many times can you hand it off to Nick Chubb? I just think, I think that's going to be a lot closer than 6. That sounds like a field goal game to me.
Honestly, I was surprised by how good the Browns looked in game 1.
They were teamed up. That was a revenge match. Nobody on that team liked Baker Mayfield.
Understand the sentiment.
Understand that sentiment. Well, we got some other teams tuned up here. We got the Lions at home hosting the Commanders. Lions 2.5-point favorites there. Looks like we have some disagreement with Nick backing Carson Wentz and the Commanders. Let's go ahead and get into some of those thoughts. Why?
I don't know. I went back and forth on this game because the 2.5 line threw me. I just think this is going to be a field goal game, and I think this game is just going to be too close. It can go either way.
Billings, why are we backing Dan the Man Campbell?
Hard Knocks effect is still, at its peak. And so, that's why I went with the Lions. Definitely some recency bias.
0-1 team. They're at home. They're hungry. I don't think the Commanders are that good. I think it was a close game between some crappy teams with the Jags last week. Carson Wentz hasn't thrown those back-breaking picks yet. That Lions team forces some turnovers. They take care of them, and they win at home. Give me the Lions by a field goal on that one. That's going to be a close one. Okay, I'm going to move forward to the lock of the week for Chris Billings. The Jags hosting the Colts. Jags are 4-point underdogs at home. Go ahead and talk to us about the Jags and Colts here, since you got some analysis here.
Both of you picked the Colts, I see. That's wrong on both of your parts, and I'm going to tell you why. So, Jags +4 this week. So week 18, last season. Carson Wentz. Colts go down to Jacksonville. Lose to the clown show Jags. All the fans dressed in clown outfits to basically protest the team. And end up losing 26-11. Colts miss the playoffs. Carson Wentz basically ends his tenure with the Colts. And so go to the previous season, 2020. Phillip Rivers lost to Jacksonville 27-20 during week 1. 2019, week 17, Jacoby Brissett loses in Duval County 38-20. Tony, guess what happened in 2018? That's right. You guessed it. Andrew Luck lost in the River City during week 13, 6-0. We'll just keep going on. 2017, loss, 30-10, Jacoby Brissett. 2016, loss. Technically, though, this one was in England. Still a home game for the Jags. Andrew Luck was the QB at the time. 2015, loss. Back in Jacksonville again. 51-16 to one Matthew Michael Hasselbeck playing for the Colts. And then we go finally to 2014, the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville. So yeah, Colts dog shit in Jacksonville. Can't take that heat. Can't take it. Can't take Duval County. Give me the Colts all day. Colts will most likely win, but the 4 points, no, don't like it. If it would have been 3, I would have maybe gone with the Colts, but 4, no. Give me the Jags all day on that game.
You want to change your pick after that history lesson, Nick?
No, I think the Colts bounce back after a tough week 1 tie.
I'm not changing my pick either. That's right. Solidarity. Forget your history lessons over there, Chris. Let's go Colts. Matt Ryan, they figure out a way to win this game and get revenge from last year. They're covering that. That's a touchdown game. Let's go Colts. That's right.
Yep. One Mr. Matt Ryan who plays in domes all the time. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong indeed? Speaking of what could go wrong, we got the Saints, another dome team where Matt Ryan used to play against, hosting the Bucks. Saints 2.5 point underdogs at home against Tampa. The Saints, what is that? 4-1 record against Tom Brady since he's been a Buck. Looks like the only one of us picking the Bucks here is Billings. Tell us why you're backing Tom Brady to go 2-0.
I think that Bucks D causes problems for Jameis Winston, and I think that the Bucks win by a field goal at the very end.
Right there at the end in New Orleans, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Nick, why are we backing the Saints?
Like you said, the Saints have had Tom Brady's number since he went to the Buccaneers. And I think that Jameis Winston has some kind of revenge game here, depending on if his back's okay. But I think if Jameis plays, I think they win probably by field goal, maybe a touchdown.
I like it. They're at home. They're getting points. They do match up well with Brady. And Julio Jones is making plays for them against the Cowboys. I need to see a little bit more weapons for the Bucks before I'm going to buy into that offense again. And I'm just going to go with the Saints in the home dog action there. What is this? Giants, Panthers. Both of you guys picking the Giants at home. 2.5 point favorites. Why? Why are you guys backing Daniel Jones and this Giants team? Let's go ahead and start with Nick. Tell me why you're backing this.
It's not as much of backing this one as that I really don't have the faith in the Panthers. I think this is just like that Jets Browns game. It's going to be a battle of two teams that aren't really good, and it could come down to a field goal. This game is another one that could go either way. That's why they have you at that 2.5 points.
Billings, what do you got?
I'm in the same boat. I don't trust this Panthers team at all anymore. Fuck them. Fuck Matt Rule. He's lost his last 8 games. I'm done with them.
Oh man, make me sound so crazy. We're picking the Panthers. 0-1 teams, man. I just think they're hungry. They want to get a win, and the Giants are really going to be 2-0. Daniel Jones and that team was in trouble against Tennessee if it wasn't for Fat Randy getting that field goal attempt. So I don't know. I think the Titans weren't as bad as people think. I think the Giants do go ahead and cover. No, I think the Giants lose that. I think the Panthers cover. I think that's an upset win right there. Panthers win that game. Dang, look at this block here. We got 3 games in a row that we're all in agreement on. Let's see if we can speed these up then. Steelers, Patriots. No one's picking the Patriots, not after what they saw against Miami. We're all picking the Steelers. Sounds about right. Falcons, Rams. Rams 10.5 points at home. That's a get right game for the Rams after getting crushed by the Bills.
Also have classic East Coast team going West Coast.
Yes.
Never
True.
pans out well.
True. Doesn't look like we got much to say about that. And then we've got Niners hosting the Seahawks, 10-point favorites at home. All of us are on the Seahawks train. 10 points just feels like way too many.
Yes.
That Niners
Yes.
team did like I don't know what Vegas got from that game last week,
know.
but the Niners do not look like a 10-point favorite team.
No, it's especially losing Mitchell, still no Kittle. I don't see that 10-point favorite.
Yeah, we're all in agreement on that. And then we have Nick, why are you picking the Cowboys against the Bengals?
Hey, that
Cowboys are
8-point
8
line
points
got me.
away.
That 8-point line got me. Based on what we saw from Cincinnati last week, I think they'll probably still win this game, but that 8 points just seems like a lot.
Chris, tell them the Cowboys can't score 8 points. And so that's pretty much why the Bengals are going to cover that.
Yeah, that was probably like I was leaning towards what Nick said. I was like, yeah, like it's hard to side with the Bengals after that performance, but then again, I'm also with Tony. Like I don't know how the Cowboys score.
But
Yeah.
the Bengals can't kick field goals, so they score 2 touchdowns. That's 12 points. So you score a touchdown, you're good.
It's true. See this.
Oh, Nick's
The accounting guy
12-3.
doing some math for us might want to pay attention to this.
All right. We got Billings Broncos trying to bounce back in their home opener against the Texans. 10-point favorites. All of us picked the Texans. Tell us why, Billings. Tell us
It's too
why.
much. It's too many points. Like I Broncos, this will be a get right game for them, but like I said in the post game show, Texans defense actually looks really good.
They do. I agree. That's why I picked the Texans as well. I thought it could be a get right game for you guys, but I don't think you guys can go ahead and score that many points over them. That's just too many. Nick, what do you got?
I agree. The spread's too high.
All right, we got Cardinals Raiders. This was an interesting one. I was the only one to pick the Raiders as a 5.5-point favorite at home. The Cardinals just got waxed by the Chiefs, but both of you guys are picking the Cardinals to cover or to win. What's the deal here in this, Billings?
This is one of those games, no matter who I pick, I will be wrong. I don't know what the Cards' identity is.
Yeah.
If I had to give you a full 1 through 32 power rankings, I'd have no idea where to put the Cards. I'd just be like almost like I'd need like a dartboard and just okay, like I guess they make sense there. I don't know what their identity is on either side of the ball, so it's just hard for me to pick. And then the Raiders, like we talked about it in the post game, like on offense, like they made some weird questionable decisions that like McDaniel's not the boy genius that he's cracked up to be.
Nick, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Chris on the Cardinals. I don't know which team was going to show up. It's sort of like Jekyll and Hyde, depending on the year. And with the Raiders, I Josh McDaniels, I don't trust his offense. Seen it plenty in New England. I don't know. Five
All
and a
right.
half points seems like a lot, so we'll see.
We will. We will. I think that they win that one, and it's an ugly game. Speaking of ugly games, Packers, Bears. That's a Sunday night football. Why? 10-point spread. Packers are favored. Is that Billings picking the Bears? Why? Why? Explain yourself.
I think that spread's just too much. I think the Bears will cover.
Nick, come on.
Aaron Rodgers owns them.
See?
I think they cover.
Billings, come on. Nope. All right. That's that right there. Home opener Packers. That's get right game. They win by at least 2
Prove
scores.
it. Prove it to me, Aaron Rodgers. Prove it.
Yeah, okay.
Then I'll pick you next week.
All right. We do have a good. Is that a double header on Monday night? Titans
Yeah.
Bills.
It is. It's
is?
weird that they did it reverse. I think it was because of the Emmys or some bullshit this year that
Wow.
they didn't
Don't
have
they
the
know that
double
football's
header.
back?
Yeah,
Everything else got to take a back seat.
yeah, nobody fucking cares about the Emmys. Like, no.
I'm gonna start seeing some
But that's-
Tuesday night games.
Oh, that is.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, that's a little much.
I need a break.
Yeah. That is a pretty good doubleheader for Monday Night Football, I must say. We've got Titans, Bills. Bills are favored by 10 points. That is the Buffalo Bills home opener. You know the Bills Mafia will be out and about. They are a wagon. You guys are both picking the Bills to cover that. I wanted to pick the Bills so bad. Overreaction of the Titans loss. Titans cover that. Maybe that's a push, but the Titans cover that one. No, I'm wrong. Billings shaking
No.
his head vigorously. No.
Yeah.
No, nothing the Titans did on Sunday and gives me any faith that the Bills won't destroy them on Monday night.
All right. Fair enough. Billings, anything to add?
For like the Titans to just cover that spread to even have hope, like you'd have to have a 200-yard running game.
Okay. Derrick Henry. We'll see.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Like you'd have to play keep away from Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
And
being,
then them being back at home, like that crowd is gonna be insane. I guarantee there's gonna be a lot of delay games. There's gonna be a lot of false starts for the Titans. It's not gonna be a good environment for them.
it's going to be difficult for sure. I agree with that assessment. We'll go ahead and go towards the game of the week here that both of you
Yeah.
guys are hyping up. We've got the Eagles at home hosting the Vikings. Eagles 2.5-point favorites. All of us in quick agreement on the Vikings, as this was one of the first ones we all had. Why are you picking the Vikings, Nick?
I mean, it's like we've been saying the last few shows. It's just that team has all these weapons, and if Kirk Cousins can put it together, that team could be very, very good. And with the Eagles, I think they have a lot of firepower on offense, and this should be an exciting game. But I think the Vikings end up winning this game.
Billings?
Yeah, like I think that this will be a close game for the most part, but I think the Vikings, and this will be a shocker for everyone to hear, win on a field goal.
Vikings insider, the man who knows everything that's going to happen with how Vikings games finish. Chris Billings over there predicting a game-winning field goal. I would agree with most of your points about the Vikings. What I would want to bring up here is a little broader point. Maybe it deals with my Cowboys prism that I see the league through. But now that the Cowboys are no longer like a threat, and they're no longer like a storyline, no one's talking about them, they can't be on the headline. The next team up is the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East to get all of that shine and that attention, because they're the ones that should just walk to this division now. I'm interested to see how that team performs with this expectation now and this hype on them, because I really am concerned about that Eagles defense. Nobody has talked about this Eagles defense, but when they play good teams, they get lit up. Jared Goff put up 35 points against them last week. I think the Bucs in the playoffs put about 30 up against them. Anytime they played the Cowboys last year, they put up a bunch of points. Anytime that Eagles team matched up against a good quarterback, they put up points. I think you guys are right, and I think Kirk Cousins starts clicking with that offense, and I think the Vikings put up 30 plus, and I think they easily cover that spread because I just don't think that Eagles defense is really anything to write home about. I think that's really the big liability on that team.
AJ Brown though, pretty good.
Yeah,
fair. AJ Brown pretty good. Jalen Hurts real fast, real athletic. Pretty good.
I don't know. Jalen Hurts still a question mark for me. Yeah, like I just think the fact that it's in Philly, Monday Night Football, tough environment to play in, will be more of a factor. But yeah, like Jalen Hurts, like he's another one. Like still, you got to prove it to me. I will say this about the NFC East: don't discredit the propensity of Dan Snyder to be a scumbag. Can very well take those headlines away from the Eagles.
That is true. Fair enough. We will see. As Billings is talking there about the Eagles, you got anything to add in that game about Vikings Eagles, Nick?
no, it should be fun to watch. It'd be nice having the 2 Monday night games, even though I'll probably pass out before.
Yeah,
the
let's
game's
be honest.
over.
You're not gonna stay awake for this game.
No.
We'll recap it next week here. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for watching and tuning into the Sports Budz. That was the week 1 recap and our week 2 picks against the spread. I'm joined as always by Chris Billings over here. Nick Kerr.
Good job.
Over here. This is definitely wrong. We'll fix that. And I am Tony Reyes, also Tony Parlay. Thank you as always for joining the Sports Budz. You guys have yourselves a wonderful evening. Sign it off.
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.